First of all, how much do we know about ICC and their package as far as supporting the victims is concerned? And how much of that information does ICC come and give to the victims, apart from the organizations that they work with? In Uganda, we have the Trust Fund for Victims, has been supporting victims through organizations like INET in Libya, AFC, little bit, refugee law project, little bit, GWETG, to provide physical and psychological rehabilitation, taking the victims to the hospital, providing counseling so that they will settle. I will tell you two things. One, if I'm psychologically tortured and I really need your counsel, and then you don't come to get to know the source of my psychological torture, then you're not going to treat me. A victim comes to your office, you spend 1, 2, 3 hours providing individual counseling or group counseling. The victim leaves the office, gets to the gate. What does the victim see? Sees postponement of the problem. Because it's going back to where his anger is always raised. It's going back to where he cries, he sheds tears every time. So we are trying to treat the water not from the source. We are treating a flowing water just from the middle. And then the dirty one which flows comes and takes over. The medical rehabilitation has been very significant because it has made many of these victims to see tomorrow. But how much do we understand their medical needs? There are victims who needs to be treated for about 20, 30 years because their conditions will be changing. I want to give an example, which is a little painful. A child who has been hit by a landmine and lost the limb, given an artificial limb at the age of 12. By 13, 14, 15, you need to change the limb. By 16, 17, you need to change the limb. By 18, 19, you need to change the limb. You will keep on changing this limb up to this 30. Why? Because the bones are growing. And every time you're just not going to change the limb alone, you're going to take him back for surgery because they need to cut the bone off. It grows and protrudes the skin. You need to cut it. So if you've done it today, then you are excited that I have sorted Mr. Mark of his problem. He now has an artificial limb. Come and visit Mark after 5 years. You will not get him using the limb because he's undersized. He has grown. You will get Mark suffering because he will pull his leg and what you will see is a bone that has grown out. And you will see wound. Because as it grows and pierces the skin to get out, it will create wound. And this wound will never heal until when they cut off the bone and they stitch. Now, these are some of the pains that these victims are going through. We have victims who are having more than 50 bone fragments in their body. I have witnessed that because I worked with victims for more than 10 years. I have profiled victims. I have been with victims. I have lived with victims. I am not among the few actualists who can talk so deep about the victims as far as their health conditions are concerned. Because I have interacted with them. You go to the hospital, someone is scanned, 48 fragments. Then the doctor tells the person, others are so deep, others have gone into the organs, for now, we are removing 3. From 48, it remains with 45. and the doctor gives him medicine and tells him, come next year around June. Then somewhere in the process, because of growth and development, then he starts having some swelling, then it turns into pus, then as he squeezes it, then a fragment gets out. One gets out, he has 44. Then he goes to the hospital, then they tell him, this time we are removing 5, because we don't want to put you in a lot of pain. We cannot remove from your neck, from your back, from your, your lower abdomen, from your thigh at the same time. Then they remove. Then they tell you, you will come back after 7 months. After 7 months you go, then they do another scan, and then they tell you, they are still in position that cannot be removed because it needs a lot of cutting, it will give you a lot of pain, and you need to be given medicine that you will be taking so that these fragments will come a little outside where it can easily be operated. And then someone continues. I know of a man in Kipkum, I heard he passed on this year. We took this guy 7 times to the hospital. 7 times. If you go home, you will shed tears. I don't know the kind of wisdom he carries. The guy has a small calabash. He brings for you the calabash. Inside, what will you get? Bones. Whose bones? His bones and fragments. Because the bones destroyed the bones. They did some bit of correction, but there are bones that are peeled off and they remain inside. Every time he leaves, as he do his work, then this thing starts coming out. Then he squeezes them. They come out, he puts in the calabash. Then they remove the fragments, and the guy asks the doctor, can I go with it? This thing that has been giving me pain. And they would give him, he puts them there. The government is supposed to protect its citizens and provide a conducive environment for living. And that's why among the things they do, they provide health services, they provide good roads, they provide safe drinking water, they provide education, they give a space for economic development. They provide a lot. What is it that our government is doing as far as victims are concerned? It's only when you threaten them that you are going to demonstrate naked on the street. Then you will see them calling you and giving you hidden support that are then later on exposed. We've seen a lot of government programs coming. They come in the names of supporting victims. Painfully, how many victims have benefited from Nabora Technical School? That youth center, how many victims have benefited from that? People are paying a lot of money to access education. What was the basis of setting that? It all came from the aspect that victims of war are in northern Uganda. How many of the victims benefited from PRDP, from NUSA, from NADS, from right now, Operation World Creation, PDM? How many victims have benefited? Has government ever thought of doing needs assessment? Talking to victims to understand the victims and their needs, so that whatsoever program they bring shoots the interest. At some point they were distributing chicken, they were distributing goats, they were distributing piglets. You distribute piglets, goats, chicken to someone who sleeps on the street, doesn't have a house, doesn't have a home. Where will you keep them? And this is why most of the government programs fail in northern Uganda. especially the ones that were targeting victims of war. Right now we are having universal primary education. How many victims can afford universal primary education? That should have been for free. How many? How much does government give to the UPE schools? Very little money. 3 million, 2 million, 4 million to run the whole term.
That is.
Yes.
Looking at there are a lot of talks here and there. You see politicians making noise about affirmative action, government should take affirmative action toward the victims of war, and on the other end, pushing for the transitional justice policy. How urgent do you think this transitional justice policy
is needed
in this case?
The transitional justice policy is not needed today. It's needed yesterday and many days back. Today we should have been seeing the benefit of the transitional justice policy. I think it should be still in a draft. It has reached a point where I also got discouraged to follow. Because you really see that this is a very comprehensive document that should have spoken clearly on the victims and the benefits that they would get. And the TJ policy is not for northern Uganda only, it's for Uganda. There has been war in Kasese. There has been war in Soroti, in eastern Uganda. The Karamojong raids, the Mukora stuff. We've had a lot of conflicts all around the country. Don't tell me there's anywhere in Uganda that has been peaceful. Not even Barrow. The TJ policy would have directed the government and aligned their work as far as facing the victims are concerned. But I would also think that politics has played a key role in destroying the TJ policy, because it becomes a binding document that me and you can carry and advocate for the rights of the victims. Now, since it's not yet there, we keep on shouting, and then we shout and get tired and keep quiet. The government of Uganda should know that what is called Uganda has northern Uganda. That is what formed this big country called Uganda. If you delete northern Uganda from Uganda, then probably we are saying there's a new country created. And then the size of Uganda would have shrunk, would have become smaller. Then the population of Uganda would have become smaller, because there's population here. Even when we are only about 2 million, that is already population. Then the economy will be affected. Then the GDP will be affected, because northern Uganda contributes to the GDP. Leaving the victims outside without considering them as being part of development of the country is a blunder. Is a blunder. You may not know how good your left hand is, but the day it gets injured is when you will feel the importance of the left hand.
So, very many NGOs have been in those areas there where the war was operating. What was the link? How big was the gap between the NGOs and the government as far as the issue?
First of all, the NGOs took up the responsibilities of the government. Not that they wanted to take up the responsibilities of the government, because they were supposed to complement. But where there's nothing and you have what to offer, you offer to create something. A lot of implementations by NGOs should have been done by the government. Right now the NGOs are shrinking because the fundings are not there. I think it even reached a point where the government fell the hands and looked at the NGOs like, wow, we are doing well, we are doing well. But who are those doing well? the NGOs were doing well. Not knowing that even the project that the NGOs come out with in the name of supporting the victims, and they would even write victim centers, the benefit that gets to the victims is less than 10%. I don't want to go to the breakdown. So even the affirmative actions that you are talking of, who are the people who benefited from the affirmative action? The 1.5 points given to the ladies or to the girls to access university. Who were those going into the university? Are they the victims? Are they the children of the poor? No. No. Which school are they studying in? You, as victims, you're studying in Pamina. Let me say you're studying in Gulu Primary School. Very nice school, very nice government school. That the aid teacher and the teaching staffs and non-teaching staffs have decided to say, no, let us raise the standard of the school. They get first grades. But go to other districts, other sub-counties, see how the schools are doing. And you expect that person to come out and compete with others.